I met Drish right now.
Yeah.
You said you met on a dating app?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought that dating apps would have existed when we were in school?
Yeah.
And they've become such a useful part of human society at this stage.
Well, I just got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's gone to the number one priority part of your head.
Yeah. It is amazing, to be honest. Like, we get to spend all hours of every single day together because we work together, we live together, we're married together. We could probably carve out more time for dates and things like that because that's kind of slipped a little bit, but we're having the time of our lives.
Easy working together?
Mostly, yeah. We have differences in the way we work because she's come from a very corporate background. I've come from a YouTube background, which is like has no structure at all. But that's kind of good because then she takes on the tasks that need that structure.
Right.
She creates Notion templates and big Slack messages with bullet points and stuff. And I just used to say to people, yeah, why don't you try doing this on Monday? And then if that doesn't work, then maybe do this on Tuesday. She's got a plan.
Yeah. I say this about my partner to my friends. I say that if she wasn't there, I think my mental health would have been
Something like that.
Yeah? Along the same lines?
Well, yeah, so before she joined the company, we did a little tally of like what I spend my time doing. And it was like 88 hours a week is what we worked it out to of work time consistently. That was like just a normal average week, 88 hours. So she's brought that down now to something like 60.
But just making things more efficient.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what about on a human level? There's a singer called Prateek Kuhad. He makes these really romantic songs in India. And I spoke to him about relationships once. And he's also an artist. He's also cut from the same cloth where we're talking about sadness so much and, self-harm inside the head. And he said that when you're in a stable relationship, your insecurities reduce automatically.
Oh, I have had that, yeah.
Because you're just a little bit more confident in yourself because of the greatness of your partner. And often in those phases where you've completely hit that barrier of insecurity or self-doubt, your partner pulls you out. But when you're single, you don't have anyone pull you out. Because there's something that a partner can do which a therapist can't do. There's a lot of things that therapists can do that your partner can't do. But there's some things that only your partner can do.
And you've noticed that in yourself. Your insecurities kind of disappearing.
Yeah, I don't think about them so much. She reminds me of who I am.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, to be honest. Yeah, there's so many things. They seem so silly when you look back on them, don't they? That you used to worry about, that you just don't later on. I feel like most adults go through that kind of transition period, and then they tell their kids it doesn't matter, but they don't understand that it does in those moments.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things about having a stable relationship. Your mental health benefits on many, many levels.
And why is that? Because they take off some of that workload, or because they remind you it's okay, even if you don't have success in the traditional sense?
I have my own relationship theory.
Yeah.
I think the best relationships are where the guy finds a bit of a mom and the girl finds a bit of a dad. You can't expect the person to be a complete dad or a complete mom, but you need that little daddying or mommying from your partner.
Yeah, that's what I've heard the same thing expressed many different ways, but it always boils down to that. Yeah.
Right. I guess that's what a relationship turns into, man, in the long term. Like it first turns into friendship and then it also turns into a bit of this.
Yeah, there's something really nice, I suppose, about being able to look after someone wholly and completely and know that that's coming back without any kind of said expectation, isn't it?
Do you want kids?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you want kids?
So it's something I've thought about a lot, to the point where every time I meet someone who's had kids, I tend to find a way to ask them, like, was it a good decision? Are you happy with it? Obviously, there's a slight problem because you don't get a clear answer. There's always a heavy bias of, I can't say it was a bad decision. But through those conversations, you start to get a picture that the older you get, the more value you get out of having made the decision to have kids when you were younger. And
wow,
the older you get, the younger you wish you'd had those kids.
why is that?
Because the kind of balance in you putting in time, effort, money into raising those kids, and the reward you get from them seems to just shift and shift and shift more in your favor
As you age.
as you age. But if you have those kids, like let's say you were 40, for example, you're going to get way less of that time where you're benefiting net positive than if you had them at 30. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the effective call to action here is have kids early.
Even if it feels tough, yeah, and you don't want to because you feel like you're giving up such a great young life.
How do you feel about those 18 to 22 years that you're going to have to dedicate to the kids? Because I think as good dads and moms, you'll end up giving the best parts of yourself to the kids.
Mm,
And until now, we're giving the best parts of ourselves to our YouTube channels.
that that is an interesting thought. I think it would have to be efficiently planned in the sense of like deciding what are the most important points to be there for the child, and then not sacrificing the things that we decide don't matter as much. Like, let's say waking up in the middle of the night to change nappies, try and get some help with those things so that you can have really good quality time when that kid is really, taking it in.
Hmm.
But, something's got to give. Like, at the point where we have kids, I'm sure content will slow down a bit and we'll have to be okay with that.